Assuming you guys can hear me. Assuming you guys can hear me. Assuming you guys can hear me. Icebergs are when people, record shit. The darker the trivia, the deeper the poll. So now I can finally get this thing to fucking work. So this iceberg was made by a guy named, Dark Advent 15 on Reddit. Now, there's gonna be some stuff even I don't know. But since I have a very, very vast knowledge of Sentai, I think it's pretty well known. I think I'll be like this. And I will look at the other ones. Assuming the stream doesn't fucking crash. Yeah, oh yeah, the other one, both these were actually made by a guy named Griffith Goblin on Reddit. But I'll talk over these. So first one, Power Rangers source material. As we all know, Power Rangers adaptation of Sentai. And well, like this. Go Ranger, and Jacka as Sentai. So believe it or not, Go Ranger and Jacka were not Sentai at first. They were actually two unrelated ships. They were actually not related at first. It wasn't until 1995 that they were part of the canon. Jetman saved the franchise. So Jetman has basically toy sales and ratings were not great for Sentai for 5-man, and they basically Toei said that felt that if Power Rangers wasn't if the next season doesn't do well, it's going to be the end of the franchise. Cancellation rumors. This is basically a rumor that Sentai's going to get canceled at some point. I mean, considering this is going on for 50 years, it doesn't show any signs slowing down, I doubt it. Leopardon. So, we all know Japanese Spider-Man. So, Leopardon, basically in Spider-Man, Toei made an adaptation of Spider-Man that focus on a Japanese motocross student trying to avenge this random alien that he saved. Well, the monsters of that series could grow to giant size, and so Spider-Man had a giant robot called Leopardon. And a popular rumor, and that some people still report as fact, and well, we don't know for sure, was that Leopardon was the suit was stolen or lost during production. In actuality, it was not. Apparently, the suit was actually repurposed as the mech for Denji Man. I've taken it with a very big grain of salt, but if anyone knows, let me know in the chat or comments when this gets uploaded to YouTube. Akiba Ranger. So Akiba Ranger was a parody Sentai that made by Toei themselves that aired in that aired in 2012, 2013. Basically revolving around a bunch of weebs, a bunch of otaku in trying to save the Akiba district in Tokyo, focusing on a Red Ranger named Nobuo Akagi, who was basically a Sentai. Pretty much every adult Sentai fan, only not morbidly obese. A Blue Ranger named Mitsuki Aoyagi, and a Yellow Ranger named Yumiya Moegi, who was a cosplayer and doujin author. She is weird. And there were some cameos like from some actors, like apparently, and often like all in like their head. And apparently, one episode, like the second episode, which focused on was that Ryuji Saiyan, who if you don't know played Ban. Ban was showed up in an episode. Basically, he thought it was Ban himself, but in actuality, it was Saiyan. And uh, they actually met at. Apparently, because he was basically in the universe, he was there to try and show up for a promotional event for Power Rangers SPD's Japanese dub. Yes, SPD got Japanese dub, and all the Deca Ranger actors came back to reprise their role. I am not joking; it is that cool. Apparently, Band's actor actually met Jack's actor, which you do not know how cool that is. All right, the second tier, O Rangers production. So O Ranger had a weird production. So originally, it was planned to be the darkest Sentai yet. And apparently, even Toshiki Inoue, yes, the fucked up man himself, was originally going to write for the show at one point, but that fell through. And for a while, it was dark. Like, the first 10 episodes were actually kind of dark, like this. The problem was, two things happened that would cause the show to be changed. So apparently, two things happened. First was the Great Hanshin disaster, which was a tragic earthquake that happened. There. The other reason it was so dark was a tragedy called the sarin gas attacks. Basically, there was a cult called Shiryoku, who was like a Japanese doomsday cult who thinks the United States is going to start World War III. Well, in 1995, like about 1 month when about a month of the show's airing, during Tokyo Rush Hour they would stab. They left bags of sarin hide under newspapers and stabbed them with umbrellas. This attack resulted in the death of 13 people and several hundred were hospitalized. Toei thought that it wasn't appropriate to make such a dark show at the time, so they lightened up the show as the show progressed. This resulted in a very uneven tone and a popular rumor that O Ranger was gonna get almost killed the franchise itself, when in actuality, it was the exact opposite. Because while the ratings are bad, toy sales were through the roof. Shout versus Hasbro. So when Hasbro got the rights to the Power Rangers, there was some legal trouble with Shout. Shout wanted to continue releasing more Sentai, but Hasbro wouldn't let them. Then it was all back and forth until 2022 and 2023-ish when Deca Ranger and Up Ranger were out. we still don't have any word on whether or not we're gonna get Mighty Ranger. Please, Hasbro, can we please? So, Devs and Gal Ranger. Devs. So, Gal Ranger. There's like one episode of Gal Ranger where a Ranger dies, where a Ranger would die on screen. Gao Sapikakyore. Gao Kurai Suke. Gao Sakire. Gao Karuse. Like, I don't know how they died, but yeah, they died a lot. They just got revived up there. Recycle finishers. I'm guessing this means that their finishers would be different. I think that's what's going on. Okay, what else? Gay gays. I'd rather have a stream that with bad frame rate than a stream that disconnects. So Gege is a character in Zenkaiger who I know nothing about. He is a main character who dies. Okay, I don't know anything about Zenkaiger. Zen, Ono Zenkai. Some bird thing. In the first 21 episodes, he was voiced by an actor named Tatsuya Suzuki, who was also apparently the voice of the Japanese voice for Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. However, in 2021, he was caught in a scandal where he was cheating on his wife. Um, this resulted in him being written out of him being recast for the rest of the show's run. Jetman's ending. So Jetman basically ends like with a time skip after they defeat the Vyram, where they're at Ryu's wedding, Ryu and Kaori's wedding, and that's when Guy was showing up to buy flowers for his friends. However, a robber shows up. Apparently, a woman tries to steal. A robber tries to steal this woman's purse. So Guy tries to go up and save her, just to get the purse back. However, the robber pulls out a knife and stabs him. He then goes to a bench so that he would make it just in time for their wedding, having one last smoke before dying. This is a kid's show, I need to remind you. Apparently, it was supposed to end with Guy not dying. Guy just being the twist being that he was going to be the best man at Ryu and Kaori's wedding. But Inoue, being Inoue, decided, fuck that. I'm going to disappoint all the Japanese housewives. Because apparently, Guy was a fan favorite in Japan. Alright. Tokyuger adaptation. We are never, ever, ever going to get an adaptation of Tokyuger. We're just not. And I'm very, very, very angry about that. Alright. Curator's Inspiration. So, I don't know. Star Wars? Constellations. I know it's a space opera. Apparently, what I know is that Toei was that Bandai America was involved. Okay, and good luck. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. The story. Around the world we go. Space Johnny. Is Curator any good? I've heard mixed opinions on it. I mean, I will admit, from what I've seen of Lucky, his I can see Yoshalaki getting annoying. Sun Vulcan's connection to Danger Band. So Sun Vulcan, well, for one, Machio Soga's character, uh, Lady Vader, I think she was called, comes back as like one of as the right hand woman of the Machine Empire. Oh, Queen Hidarian, and she comes back as the main villain of the show. Like a major villain of the next season. And apparently, people, the descendants of Denji people, come back. Um, Originally, it was supposed to be a flat-out sequel with starring the character the original Denji Man again, but I guess scheduling conflict resulted in that. And a crossover was also planned, but that was also canceled. All right, Yaku Sentai V Leaguer, 5 Leaguer. It could be tomato. That was the original plan for Dynaman. Dynaman was supposed to be a baseball themed Sentai, and the Yellow Ranger was going to be orange. But this was changed to science. Sentai in Brazil and Latin America. So the comments of my "What Your Favorite Sentai" video is anything to go by is that, and of course, Chroma Squad, is that Sentai Brazilians love their Sentai, like with Changeman in particular being the fan favorite. So I guess Shadow will be watching lots of Changeman when he gets to be with his Latina girlfriend. I am sorry, that meme will never not be funny. Ninja Captor. So there was another show in the 70s that Toei made called Ninja Captor about some ninjas fighting against an evil cult. They have all the episodes on YouTube, but only like the first one is translated. Bullshit. For a time, it was a Sentai. Kapta, shoo shoo shoo. And they even kind of reference some book called Choshikizen Sentai, but this was just corrected and retconned. Abaneja Dino Thunder. So there was an episode of Dino Thunder where they were at, it was a bottle episode where they were at Cassidy's, Casey. What was that chick's name? It was a Cassie or Casey. Um, there was like one character. She ran this bar. Okay, it was a bar. Oh, Haley. Haley was her. Haley ran like this cyber cafe that was basically their version of the juice bar. And basically, Ethan was flipping her channels and saw Abba Ranger, where in universe it's a Power Rangers show, a show inspired by the Power Rangers. It's a fun episode. It has some really bad dubbing, although I don't know if it's intentional or not. But it's a funny episode. Like, there's like one of my favorite parts is there's like this one part when Monster of the Week shows up, and Connor's response is, "Oh, you can so tell that's a guy in a rubber suit." Despite the fact that they fight got monster rubber suit monsters almost every day. I'm sorry, I love that episode. Bosco is Super Mega Force. So apparently, Bosco was going to the actor who played Bosco in Go Kaiser said in an interview that he grew up in. Apparently, Bosco said he grew up in America, and even watched. And even watched Power Rangers as a child, and he said he would have reprised the role had he there. Apparently, there's like some saying there's like some casting. Although this could be like this. Yeah, I'm checking right there, but basically said he would have reprised his role for his American counterpart for his American counterpart. All the more reasons we don't talk about Megatron. Kanpai Senshi After V. This one I'm not familiar with. From the looks of it, it's a parody Sentai. Base guys drinking. It has a TV tropes page. All right, well there. Dynaman's parody dub. So there's a show called Night Flight on USA Network that aired. Somehow got their hands on Dynaman, and they dubbed some episodes of Dynaman on. Basically, the whole plot is that about 5 good-looking Japanese friends as they fight Dr. Ho. Oh wait, they fight Bernie Tanaka and Mel Fujitsu. Oh yeah, the monsters mentioned are called the reptiles that go wee. It's a weird dub. It is a trip. And apparently, clips of this episode appeared on an episode on some show on Nickelodeon called Special Delivery, which is absolutely hilarious in hindsight when you realize that Power Rangers did air on Nickelodeon, at least here in America. Bastards. Oh yeah, these episodes are on a streaming service called Nightfly Plus, and we're on the now defunct Verve. Remember Verve? Mindo Ninja. So in a movie of Ninja, there was this chick who was a Green Ranger, if I'm correct. Shari Yorikani Ninja. Hey, Ninja Japan. Da 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 da. Okay, despite how bad Ninja is, it's a good theme song. I won't lie. Yeah, which makes her technically the first female Green Ranger. Although the other Green Ranger in Q Ranger as the first recurring Green Ranger. Waku Saber. What the hell is that? Oh, it's another Sentai series. Something I don't. It's made by a JAV company, and something I don't think I'm allowed to talk about without this channel getting nuked. And I'm a gooner. This, like, After V, also has a TV tropes page. Somehow. Despite the fact that TV tropes normally doesn't allow NSFW content there. France 5. This was like the last of the... I don't know if it's more, but this is like another Sentai-esque show, but from France. Since apparently Sentai was very popular there. As you don't remember from my, what your favorite Sentai. Alright. Next here, Bokinger. Bokinger's villain design. So the villains and all the monsters in Bokinger and the villain were all themed around previous mecha. Like, the only one that I can think of is that the fire villain, whatever his name is, I think his name is Voltar in Power Ranger in Operation Overdrive. He is voiced by... He's based on the original Megazord. Sorry. Daijujin. Dire Ranger's ending. So at the end of Dire Ranger, basically 40 years later, all the Dire Rangers who are like old decided to pass down to the next generation of Dire Rangers to fight the villains again. Kyoryuger Brave. So apparently Kyoryuger was very popular in Korea. Popular enough that it got its own sequel season called Kyoryuger Brave. You gotta keep in mind. So Dino Thunder. So Sentai, they call it Power Rangers in Korea. They keep the Power Rangers name, but they just dub Sentai. They only skipped one season. Shikinger, because samurai are not looked highly upon in Korea. And I guess no, I have a half Korean girlfriend. And I played a Korean Danganronpa fan game. And then apparently Toei liked it enough. And apparently at the end of that show, the actor who played the second Kyoryugers show up to the Brave Kyoryugers actually meet up with Zyuohger. Well, 4 of them were in suits, but they actually met Yamato, the Red Ranger that season, and the actor even showed up and everything. It wasn't like an in-suit appearance, to my knowledge. No, the actor showed up and everything. That must have been awesome. Minus the whole K-pop stuff. Yeah, apparently there's like some K-pop elements in there. I refuse to get into K-pop in any way, shape, or form because K-pop stands are some of the most mentally unstable people on the internet behind Friday Night Funkin' fans. That got dark. Okay, Sentai manga. So Super Sentai actually had some manga. I know Mask Man had one. And oh wait, Flashman had one. Bioman had one. Mega Ranger had one. Shinkinger had one. But yeah, there's like not a lot of info on this on the manga, on any of the manga. If anyone can find them, yeah, I remember like one manga actually has like the manga. One manga had like the lip molds for one ranges with lip molds like as actual mouths. If anyone here can find it, you know what? I'm gonna try and put up a $100 bounty via a Steam. I should add $100 bounty on Steam for anybody who can find this manga. Anyone out there? If you can find it, I'll pay you $100 in Steam. It has to be Steam. I am sorry. I would like to pay you through through another service, but that's the best I can do. Oh, okay. I almost dropped it. Thank God. All right, Zentraman. I didn't know about this. Apparently, there's like a comic book called Zentraman. Um, which I had never heard of. I don't know if it's from American, French, Canadian, Brazilian. I might look more into it later. Hirohisa Soda. Okay, Soda was an infamous writer for Power Ranger for Sentai. He wrote for like from he wrote he was the main writer for the franchise Die from Goggle 5 up until Flashman, and oddly enough, apparently was like even wrote for Gotcha Man, which is hilarious in hindsight when you realize the Sentai, the first Sentai that was made after his departure was a ripoff, and apparently he was also the writer for Resident Evil Code Veronica, or at least one of them. Going from Sentai to Resident Evil, that's a massive stretch. I mean, well, he apparently he did write for some future episodes. Okay, I'll probably like put up here. Today is Friday in California. Okay. So for those unaware of, there's a meme called "Today is Friday," called the Nier manga. Basically, Saizo, the Blue Ranger, they're trapped in a manga. And basically they're trying to exploit their fears. And Saizo had two fears: hospitals and the pawpaw. Batsman, like the monster, disguised as a police officer, gets out of bed and says, "Today is Friday in California." Huh? Shoot! And apparently Saizo's actor, who I should remind you, Went on to be a very big voice actor. Like apparently voiced some character in Hiroshi Suda. Um, he was voice of Feng Wei in Tekken, which is and was even the voice of Mike in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy's Japanese dub, and even voiced some monsters in later Power Ranger seasons, later Sentai seasons. That must have been a really awkward time to go from voicing the hero to villain. Apparently, his one of the monsters that he did voice was that one monster that constantly had the shotgun. His name was Dreadhead in Samurai. There. All right, Rio as Kyuden Ranger. So apparently, Rio's actor Rio and was supposed to be played Kieran Ranger, while Kieran Ranger's actor was supposed to be Rio, but the two switched. All right, next one. Sentai in the Philippines. So Super Sentai, believe it or not, is very popular in the Philippines, with Maskman being the fan favorite. All right, Miss America voiceover. So the first Miss America, Diane Martin, was voiced, but her voice was dubbed. Her character claims to have spoken perfect Japanese, but that is not true at all. She was played by an American woman. Apparently, her actress was supposed to be temporary. Her actress thought it was supposed to last a few months, but of course, she was like not easy to work with because of her inability to speak Japanese. So this was dropped, and she got written out. All right, Flashman's ending. So I don't know much about Flashman like itself. Like the plot's that basically five five kids got abducted by aliens and by evil aliens and called Mess, and and so that's when some heroic aliens from a planet called from a Flash system uh, raise them on there, and they each get powers like this. Red Red just studied apparently. Green had strength. Blue was like city and survival. Yellow was had like sharp mind, and pink was really good at jumping in. Basically, the badass action girl of the group. So then they decided to go to Earth to try and find their parents. And that's when Mess took over. Mess was actually trying to invade. Was invading Earth around this time. So they had two goals: fight off Mess and find their parents. However, only one of them finds their family, the Yellow Ranger. The reason, and they couldn't stay on Earth because since apparently Earth's atmosphere is poisonous to people born and raised on the Flash system, and if they don't stay on Earth, if they stay on Earth for more than 1 year, they'll die. So while they save the world, they have to go back to space. That got dark. Okay, Bioman 2 and 3. So in certain countries, like France, I think was one of them, Bioman was very popular there. Bioman actually got not one but two. Uh, that when Masked Man and Live Man came out there, Masked Man, they were marketed as sequels to Bioman. Speaking of Live Man, there was actually a. Speaking of Live Man and the French, uh, there was a lady named Dorothy who was an actress who was a actress from a French children's show called Club Dorothy, where they would show anime stuff from Japan. And apparently, I'm guessing Toei liked this so much that they decided why not reference our international fans. If I know, Live Man's actually pretty good Sentai. I remember like very early on when I did have like a brief Sentai phase in elementary school. I remember like one comment said that the singer for Live Man's theme sounded like Barney. That's hilarious. Live Van movie. So Live Van was like the only Sentai of the Showa era not to have like a movie of any kind. Movies are either like an uh, episode played in theaters, or an original story. Sexual Lady. Sexual Lady. It was apparently I looked it up. I thought they were like talking about this scene in Jaka where Heart Queen did like an upskirt shot like sexy. But no, it's an insert theme for the female Rangers in Bioman. I would play it, but the Toei Ninjas will strangle me the minute that they find out that they hear it. Voice Slugger. So this was like the last show Shotaro Ishinomori ever worked on. He as he would pass away a year later, sometime after that show aired. Basically, it was about some. It started some voice actors like fighting enemies. I don't know anything about it. All right, next here, Saban's Lost Bioman pilot. So, as the story you guys all know by now, Bioman Haim Saban was a simple Israeli businessman who caught who saw an episode of Bioman while on a business trip. He loved what he saw and and made a pilot to try and show for potential networks. All of them hated it, despite the fact that Sentai did well in international markets. Bastards. All right, Jetman adaptation. So Jetman. So there's a rumor going around that when that Haim Saban wanted to get Jetman, wanted to try and give Sentai another shot, that being Jetman. And apparently, it's rumored that he even sang the show's theme song at a restaurant in public at a restaurant. Chitto, chitto, chitto man, let's go shorikaze. Chitto, chitto, chitto man, Chojin Sentai, chitto man. Danger Lost Galaxy. So another rumor was that the suits of Die Ranger were going to be used in Lost Galaxy to be ancient Rangers. This is not true apparently, but it's kind of like if Die Ranger were the only suits I was perfectly okay with in, in Power Rangers Super Megaforce, since apparently from what I knew at the time, Saban, because I mean they technically did adapt something from them, but oh yeah, I should probably bring up more another trivia is that the Boom Studio comics is that Live Man and Die Ranger are canon. I'm sure you guys don't know one of the reasons I don't like Live Man I don't like Megaforce very much is because it just lazily just reused characters from shows. Thankfully, we got kind of an explanation from in the comics. Not enough to fix it, but still better. The first is the Squadron Rangers, who wore the Die Ranger suits. I know they had a Blue Ranger who was not their Blue Ranger. For one, their red was a woman. Their Blue Ranger was non-binary. Honestly, in my opinion, they should have made yellow non-binary. And they have an original Black Ranger. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. Yeah, try and find a Green Ranger. Because I know there's a Green Ranger from 5 Man that the 5 Man suits had. Oh right, one thing I should talk about was that apparently Go Ranger Jack not being Sentai at first. Apparently Turbo Ranger was celebrated as the 10th anniversary Sentai. Okay, Live Man was the technically 10th anniversary, but they made like a special of to have all the Sentai teams at the time show up to cheer on for the next generation of heroes. Okay, let's us blabbing. Star Rangers. This is our English dub of Go Ranger that aired in Hawaii. You might remember because that was like the joke in my what your favorite Super Sentai season video I did because it aired. And apparently, some say that there are even some people saying that it actually even aired in Hawaii. I listened to dub. It's terrible. Oh, Jet's live. That's nice. That's nice. X1 Mask. X1 Mask is basically the prototype of the Sixth Ranger. But he was a one-off character in that he sacrificed his powers. He was green, which is a massive coincidence if you think about it. Green Eagle. So you know how they say. So you know how there was like a manga for Sentai. Well, there's a good reason for that. Well, let's go to Jetman. There was a Jetman manga called Time Flies, and it looks radically different from the rest of the show, from the actual show. The suits, they're not even trying to hide their Gotcha Man inspirations. Jeffrey was their replacement for Guy, because they go, no, Guy, he was dead. So they had a new guy show up named Jeffrey Kizaki, who was like a leader of some band that their Blue Ranger liked. Oh, Akko. Akko was a fan of her. And basically, he got struck with the progenic waves. And he became the Green Ranger, the Green Eagle. And he was also like a guitarist for a band called Black Eagle. And don't worry, he kept his they kept his mech. It was just recolored green in the manga. Some Stanley, some Vulcan adaptation. So as we all know, Marvel was involved with the first 3 seasons with Battle Fever J, Dynamite, Battle Fever J, Genji Man, and Sun Vulcan. In one episode, and apparently Stanley really liked Sun Vulcan and wanted to try and adapt it to Power Rangers. Apparently he pitched it to HBO. I shit you not. But again, they weren't interested. And this actually played a big role in how Power Rangers got approved in the first place, because somebody that worked at Power Rangers at the time, that worked at Marvel at the time, ended up being the head of programming of Fox Kids. And when Haim Saban showed her Bioman, she's like, wait, I know this. This is Sentai. You get approved. Thanks, Stanley. Okay. Battle Fever J Origi. So apparently, like, this YouTuber who's been I learned this from a YouTuber who has been watching Sentai, and the guy is actually pretty young. He's 18. Kuma Link, which I'm shocked at the guy's age. Kuma Link made a video, made a. Oh hey, Trope Tweeter 34. Thanks for signing a contract. You're now a client. How did I not do that? Sorry about that. All right. Apparently the suits were. Some of the suits had orange eyes on them. They look really ugly as they look. All right. Masked Man Double Cartoon Network. This is the one I don't know. The one I don't know. If anyone here knows what this is, let me know, because this is the one I couldn't figure out. For now, anyway. So Gemini ratings were still poor. So, oh yeah, I was trying to look up the 5-man, Chiku Sentai 5-man. Oh yeah, the Super Sonic Rangers were the Power Ranger, the Boom Studio Comics equivalent to 5-man, because I find it weird they picked 5-man and not Jetman, because other than that, there actually is a Green Ranger, Trek. He doesn't have a helmet, but it turns out he's the Psycho Ranger, the Green Psycho Ranger. Although that's kind of a spoiler in the comics. Uh, so the ratings for 5-man were 6.5 on whatever the Japanese rating scale is. I'll ask my mother to give me McDonald's. Oh, never mind. He's there. Got it there. Jetman was 7.1. Well, that's not an improvement. I think the toy sales might be good enough. All right. Thinking of Jet 5-man, Vector Man. That was an early title name for Jetman. It was also called Brother Man, which It's such a weird name when another funny trivia is that there's some incest behind the scenes anyway, actors anyway, not in real life. Okay, so the actors who played Fumiya Hoshikawa, Fumiya, and Remy Ryo Ryohei Kobayashi and Ryo Narushima, they end up getting married in real life. That's cute, but it's also kind of creepy when you look up the actor, the characters, because you gotta remember, not only are the actors are they married? Not only were the characters like all of the Five Men siblings, but Five Yellow and Five Black were twins. I'm gonna be back in a few. I'm back. Okay. So back to more sets. Okay. Giga Ranger. So this was like the early idea for Mega Ranger. Uh, was that originally going to be a space themed Sentai. Called Giga Ranger, which was going to be a space themed Sentai. And it was all based around space exploration. However, this was dropped and changed to technology, not video games, because well, many guys know, for my what your favorite, it was that your favorite. You always go Power Rangers Youth Coms go, actually, it's not video game themed, it's technology themed. I was one of those guys. All right, Kohei Tanaka. And again, that's kind of partially why Power Rangers in Space is space themed. Because some of these actors, because apparently some of these concepts were shown to Saban, and they thought it was space themed at first. Koi Tanaka. Okay, so far I don't know if this is true. If anyone knows, correct me. Uh, there's a composer named Kohei Tanaka. I mean, you composed a lot of stuff for Toei, like One Piece, Dragon Ball. Oh, he composed for Bioman, Change Man, and Flash Man. He's still alive, so I think in his 70s, which is kind of interesting. All right, now we go to the real deep stuff. Trigger warning for essay, uh, and suicide. This is not going to be an easy thing to talk about, especially on YouTube or Twitch. Okay, so Zero Lion him. Okay, the person that made this post actually got it mixed up. It was actually Zero Elephant that got involved in a hit and run. Okay. Basically, from what I know, the actor who played Zero Elephant got into a bike, was riding his bike one day, and he crashed a bike that was like ridden by a mother and her 4 and 6-year-old daughters. What what's Tsurugi Watanabe is the actor who played the Green Ranger in Shoulder. He was not injured, but and he left the scene. But he did run over 20 minutes later, come back 20 minutes later. and he did apologize, but because he did like he was trying to get the police, like I think. However, there is an interesting to know about Leo. The actor who played Leo in Zyuohger, the Lion Ranger. Apparently, a rumor goes that apparently the guy acted in gay porn. You guys saw nothing, okay? I'm gonna edit that out of the archive. Further proof why Avast is the worst antivirus ever. Alright, Time Pink and Kamen Rider Gills. So, the actress who played Yuri in Time. Who played Time Ranger, married an actor named Yusuke Tomoni. But apparently the guy was an abusive asshole. Uh, and the two ended up getting divorced in 2008, and with Yuri's actress getting custody of their daughter. And he ended up retiring because, well, all the accusations against him, like theft, domestic violence, adultery. In other words, he's kind of a dick. I don't even know if Kamen or Agito's even any good. It has a better theme song, like a very mellow, slow, beautiful theme. Yami no Maka. All right. Turbo Ranger production. Okay, so far, only thing I kind of knew about Turbo Ranger was that the actor was that apparently there was like supposed to be like an actual like proper episode for the 10th anniversary. But apparently like that 10th anniversary episode was meant for Live Man, but ended up being dropped because of production delays or something. The other thing I think this might be referencing is the fact that Car Ranger was that Turbo Ranger's original name was so Sentai Car Ranger, which is no, it went to a completely different Car Thief Sentai. Key Ranger. Okay, so Key Ranger's actor. This is where the suicide stuff comes in. The actor who played Key Ranger, he was he wanted he ended up getting a role in a stage play, in some random play, and so his character was temporarily written out of the show. Yeah, the actor took his and his replacement character, the guy replaced him. Apparently, his actor who's also like was the Japanese voice of Homer Simpson and Darth Vader of all things. He died in 2016. His replacement actor did. However, yeah, Daigoro was his replacement. Daigoro was killed off at the end of episode 67. Killed by some can opener. But yeah, Bakage, sadly, Key Rangers actor Baku Hatate, Hatakeyama ended up taking his own life in 1978 because he was worried about being typecasted. And if you guys remember my World and Sophia Let's Play, all the way back in the first episode of the show of that Let's Play, all the way back in that Let's Play 2 years ago, I mentioned that there was a there was like some he actually guest starred on guest role on some police drama Tokuso Sai Zensen. Uh, and yeah, he said he is that Naoki Makoto, who played Akaninja in Go Ranger. Still epic as a guy reprised his role all this time. Yeah, well, apparently, like the Makoto Nanoya, he only stayed on the role for a year. For 1978 up until 86. Like the Tokuso Aizensen ended like in 85. Apparently, he was a regular on the show, and he actually has said he expressed regret for not being able to stop Hatsatagama from taking his own life. That was sad, yeah. Sadly, these next few entries aren't any better. Shishi Ranger, just like uh, Hatake, Yama, Shishi Ranger's actor, uh, Tatsuya Nomi also tragically took his own life in 2017. One lighter is Yellow 4. So Yellow 4 in Bioman was played by a different actress at first. She was played by a woman named Yuki Yajima. But, she was written out of the show. She was killed off by the villains using a thing called the bioparticle killer, and well, she dies. Uh, to this day, no one really knows what happened to her. Some said it was because she was like pain to work with, and pain to work with. I say just stop showing up. But apparently some of the actors of Bioman were interviewed by the actor who played Sasuke in Go Onger, and even and said in an interview that she was still alive at the time, as I did see her once. Whether or not she'll ever show up and talk about this, why she left, we'll never know. Probably never will. And now, Val Panther. Oh boy, probably the most fucked up one yet. So the actor who played Val Panther was a guy named Asayo Kobayashi. Yeah, apparently all the actors had like the same first name as their character. Oh right, more bioman. Okay, so Sun Vulcan, the Red Ranger was written out of the show by almost no fanfare. Ryusuke, apparently his actor was a famous singer and left the show to focus on his music career. Uh, so, and the Indian verse explanation for why he left was because he he went to work for NASA. And apparently, according to the actors for Bioman, when they were interviewed by Sasuke's actor, yeah, Sasuke's actor is pretty much the Sentai equivalent to Brennan Mania. You know, the actor who would often just still be very, despite his show long ending, would constantly interact with fans. I think if I'm correct, Brennan and Sasuke's actor Yasuhira Furuhara, his actor. Oh, oh damn. Okay, yeah. Apparently, Yasuke's actor actually apparent. Yeah, according to Yasuke's actor, they said that apparently due to how abrupt it was, it became something that in joke at Toei when a character would leave the show. They would jokingly say that they went to work for NASA. That's funny. Okay, so back to Asao. So Asao's actor actually left, retired from acting altogether after the death of the actor who played their Daizaburo Arashiyama, who was the actor who played the Sun Vulcan's mentor, their mentor figure slash commander. Because for context, Sun Vulcans was technically funded by the UN. How and then to make things worse, in 2013, he was arrested for soliciting a high school girl, and even well, let's just say that he did things to this girl. Yeah. All right. Battle Fever's cocaine incident. So apparently there was like a villain in Battle Fever who was there was a villain, Commander Header, was played by a different actor. He was played by a guy named Kenji Ushihiro, who was doing coke. He hit the coke. Now you might be asking, huh? Oh yeah, he died in 1993, but I might be asking about why it's big. Here's the thing: Japan takes drugs very seriously, maybe a little too seriously. Like no joke, they Toyota's headquarters got raided by the Japanese police because apparently some American executive that was visiting overseas brought her medication with her. It's that serious. So his character was written out. He was recast, although they did keep some footage of his like original actor. He was recast by Masashi Ishibashi. Okay, there it is. Yeah. Finally found it. It'll be absolutely hilarious if we saw my What Your Favorite Sentai video. I, I mean, I may have to send him the text of, like, translated to Japanese for him to do it. Like, and him be, he's probably going to be very, very confused. Like, what the, like, who is Ko? Or, what's a today is Friday in California? Or, and he's definitely not going to get, and he's probably, okay, for those who don't know my hope, but the joke in my video was, you like to say smile a lot. Yeah, I had nothing for this one. If you don't know that, so I didn't have any joke for it because I only saw like one review of Go Onjiro. It was done by Kaiji no Kami. He was a kind of divisive YouTuber among the Sentai fandom. And he did not like Go Onjiro. But I do know some people who do like Go Onjiro. So it's a very divisive season. Oh well. Yeah, apparently, yeah, Yasuhiro was actually going to be like an Olympic torch runner for the Olympics, but I don't know if he actually did it because of, you know. All right, every personal ranger key is personalized. This is kind of like meant to be like a, I'm guessing it's meant to be represent every blanket personalized meme that I'm just so bored of. All right, building insurance and Space Empire. I do not know those. Someone let me know in the comments or chat. And Turbo Rugger, the OG 6th Ranger. There's a mecha in Go On in Turbo Ranger called Turbo Rugger, but I already said before that S1 mask kind of predates that. Does anyone else know? All right, so this is one of them. So here's the other one. This one has some different stuff. Don't worry, I'll get to it in a bit. All right. Brown Ranger. There's never really been like a proper Brown Ranger aside from some guy in Ryu Soldier. Tsuruhime is the first. Is the leader of the Conquer Ranger. Yeah, she's the leader despite Red being the one famous. Go Ranger was made because Kamen Rider. Yeah, Go Ranger was supposed to be started out as a team of Kamen Riders. Like a show that's gonna be a Kamen Rider with team-based Kamen Rider series. But Ishimori decided, why not just make a complete original show instead? Jaka Nazi. There's like this one monster of the weekend, Jaka. And I've even made the joke about this in my What Your Favorite Sentai, which was, you watch because of that one Nazi episode. Because one of the monsters of the week was called Fuhrer Crocodile. He was a Nazi crocodile who was rounding up people connected to Jaka and putting him in concentration camps. And how they beat him was that their leader was Big Rod, disguised himself as Hitler. And he didn't even question how Hitler was Asian. What was Toei thinking? Granted, I think Ishimori already had some hate for Nazis himself, like, because I remember, they were the villains, and Shocker was like a Nazi group of sorts, if I'm correct. Let's move on. Battle of Japan was great. Okay, so Battle of J actually started out originally as part of like their deal with Marvel. It's going to be a show based on Captain America called Captain Japan, who would be joined by other characters from other countries. But then Toei decided just make it the whole team. Japan's going to be the last Sentai. As I said, Sentai ratings were declining, and so were toy sales, and the actor, oh shit, I forgot. And Jetman was said that if Jetman didn't do any better, it's gonna be in the whole franchise. But technically, that wasn't the case. Right, most of these I've already seen before. Oh yeah, Val Panther's suit actor. Okay, apparently the actor who played Val Panther and his suit actor are not the same height. His suit actor is actually uh, the literal Predator was actually taller than his suit actor, and you can tell by watching it. Okay, so that's it. That's that's tonight's stream. Hope you guys had a good night. Like, subscribe on Sexy Steps. J-Man out!